Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willowbound Journals. Welcome back to my channel. So we are continuing on with Keepsake August, and today is day 11, and the prompt for today is mentors. So here is the Keepsake list of journal prompts that you can join us in. You can download and print that printable from my Patreon, Instagram or Facebook page. And here, this is the list of all of the people who are participating in August. Everyone's hosting a different day, and I am hosting today's date. So, mentors. I ended up choosing a specific category of mentors, and I went with my YouTube mentors. And I want to share a page spread and share a story or stories of how this journey has all come together and why I'm on YouTube, how I became a YouTuber, and how I became a full-time journal maker, and the purpose of Willowbound Journals and why I'm here, why I'm doing this, and all that kind of thing will be wrapped up in here. We'll tell a few stories. So this is my anchor journal. I know it's Keepsake August and I should be doing this in my Keepsake journal, but I haven't made it yet. I've stalled. The inspiration isn't flowing there. And so I'm just going to use what I have, work with what I have, and go where the inspiration is taking me. And I'll actually do this as a prompt for the Anchor Journal course. So mentors, and how our mentors and the wisdom that they give us and the guidance and everything else that they give us can be an anchor in our lives that brings us back to center, brings us back to who we are and what we're doing. So I'm just giving you a look at some of the keepsakes I have for the 3 mentors I've chosen for today. The first one is Johanna Clough, and so I shared that journal that she sent me in the previous video. This is the bag that it came in. It was such a lovely surprise, and I scanned the fabric of the bag so that I could use this as like a decorative feature on my page, and also as a writing spot, journal spot. And then the second person who I'm highlighting for today is Amity Bloom, well, Nazi from Amity Bloom, and I've just got a few different bits and pieces from her that I bought from her Etsy shop. And these are vintage papers, vintage wallpapers, some of her printables and designs. Really, really pretty. I'm all about vintage. I'm all about botanicals and florals. So her style, I really love her style and her colour scheme. And just all the things that she uses in her journals, I really enjoy using in my own journals. One day I do hope to make myself an Amity Bloom journal, and I will call it probably my Bloom journal, and I want to do something with that, maybe turn it into another journal course where we can go on a journey exploring how we can bloom and grow and all that kind of thing. Anyway, and we'll fill it with treasures and special things and the things that we love. Yeah, it will be a really special journal, so that's in the works. One day that will happen. But yeah, going back to this page, this is a thank you note that I got from Nazi from one of her provision boxes. And then the third person or team that I'm highlighting today is Psychology in Seattle with Kirk and Berto. They both have been like mentors in my life for the stories that they share, the wisdom that they share, and I'll talk a bit more about that later. But since I already included the Take Care of Yourself sticker here on this page for my current anchors, I thought I would use their thank you card for becoming a patron. I got this a while ago now, but I thought it was fitting for this page since they inspired me to start my own Patreon. And so Johanna Clough, she introduced me to junk journals back in August 2017. And yeah, it felt like I found my home. I was getting ready for bed. I was in bed actually, and just kind of on YouTube watching videos to get me ready for sleep. Stumbled across Johanna Clough's video about junk journals, and that was it. I got up, I pulled out all my craft stuff. It was like 12 o'clock at night, and I was making myself a journal, and oh my goodness, the inspiration was just the most inspired I've ever been in my entire life, pretty much. It felt like I found my home, the thing that I'd always been looking for that I didn't know existed, a way to create, a way to journal, a way to capture memories, a way to use photos and ephemera and all these pretty pieces. And yeah, it was just amazing. So always thankful for Johanna for introducing me to junk journals. Then what Amity Bloom did, she inspired me to start a YouTube channel in February 2018. And now originally I was never ever wanting to be on YouTube. I didn't even know what YouTube was for a long time. I resisted. People would always tell me that they would spend, you know, their weekends watching YouTube and they'll be subscribed to different channels. I'll be like, what do you mean? Sorry, and then I'm just showing you some other keepsakes from Psychology in Seattle because I forgot to do that before. So there's their Psychology in Seattle pin and their mug, which I absolutely love. They're like two of my most prized possessions. And yeah, my mugs are where I keep my pencils, pens, texters, all that kind of stuff. So just showing you another one of my mugs. This one is with a black cat on the mug, which reminds me of Keanu. So my black cat Keanu is definitely one of my greatest joys. Love him so much. We have morning snuggles every morning, which is just wonderful. I usually wake up and then fall back asleep for an hour with my arm around him, so it's very nice. Anyway, where was I? Yes, so I never ever thought I was going to have a YouTube channel and resisted even watching YouTube for quite a long time, but then I started following a few channels that I loved, namely Johanna Clough and Amity Bloom. And then Nazi was just talking about her journey of how she started YouTube, and it sounded amazing. And I thought, all right, well, she could do it, because she was talking about how she was nervous and a bit scared about putting herself out there in the public, and I'm like, that's me. But I thought, if she can do it, I can do it. So I love that when people are vulnerable, that helps to know, you know, you're not alone, and that the fear doesn't have to go away. It's all okay. Do it afraid, and you just learn and grow along the way. You make mistakes, and I've made plenty of those. And your failures can be very public on YouTube. And but yeah, you just learn and grow. And yeah, she just inspired me to share what I make, you know, to share what I get enjoyment out of. And I love creating, always have created for as long as I can remember, and I've always gotten so much joy out of what I've created, and I just want to share it. And I want to hopefully inspire others to create, to journal, to make journals, to document their lives. And yeah, that's what I kind of do on my channel. But my channel has kind of evolved, and you've maybe seen that if you've followed my channel for a while, in that, yeah, that originally it was just about sharing my creations, and then hopefully inspiring people to create themselves and journal themselves. And I'm still all about that for sure, but I'm more now about hopefully sharing stories that can encourage people, that can inspire people, and just let you guys know that you're amazing, and that you are a gift to the world. You have so much to give, and all that kind of stuff. And that largely comes as well from Psychology in Seattle. So they inspire me to not just create, not just journal and do all that, which I will always do for the rest of my life anyway, but to I want to make a difference in the world like they do, pretty much. I want to make the world a better place the way they do. Well, not specifically the same way they do, with their psychology slant, but whatever way I can do that. And that's what I believe for every person. Whatever you do, and whatever you believe in, and whatever you have skills in and knowledge in and wisdom in, you can help make the world a better place just by being you and doing what you do and what you're passionate about. And so I see it as a responsibility, yes, as a bit of a duty, to use what we've been given and to give that, to share that. And so for this time in my life, it seems to be, you know, journals and creativity and documenting our lives. But I do hope to, share stories and just, be vulnerable, and let people know they're not alone. You guys know I share a lot about my mental health journey as well, how I struggled with depression and anxiety a while ago, and yeah, back then I was too afraid to let people know about it, but as soon as I started letting people know, I realized, oh, there's absolutely nothing wrong with struggling with depression or anxiety. There's nothing wrong with you. You're fine. There's no shame. It's not taboo. We can talk about this, and we can talk about what that taught me was, because everyone struggles. Everyone has struggles. You don't have to have depression or anxiety to struggle, and it's all just human, you know. We can be human, and nothing's taboo, and let's talk and share, because it's the silence that often is the worst thing about it, and just makes you struggle needlessly and even more. So yeah, anyway, I've learned so much from that journey, and even wrote a book about all of the things I learned about that journey. But anyway, so in here, going back to my page spread, I have just stuck everything down. I grabbed a bit of vintage paper, ledger paper from Nazzie's pack of vintage papers, and also this, I guess it's teal-ish coloured paper with the florals there, and I've just put that at the top of the page so I can have sections on the page to write about each of my 3 mentors, YouTube mentors. Self-declared, I'm declaring them my mentors. So yeah, on the piece with the scanned piece from Johanna's bag, that's where I'm going to write about Johanna. On the vintage ledger paper, that's where I'm going to write about Nazzy. And on that teal piece of paper, I'll write about psychology in Seattle and the different ways that they inspired me, influenced me, and led me to doing what I do now on YouTube. Been the most incredible journey, and I'm so thankful to, not just those people, but to all of you guys in this Willow community. And you guys just have been a huge part of my journey, really been a huge part of my journey, and so thankful to you guys. So yeah, just writing out pretty much what I've just told you on the pieces here. And yeah, the other thing was, so Johanna inspired me to make journals, Nazzy inspired me to start a YouTube channel, and then Psychology in Seattle inspired me to start a Patreon. Again, that was a very scary thing to do, putting yourself out there. But did that, and amazingly, my patrons are the reason I am now a full-time journal maker, which just blows my mind. Like, my family jokes about it with me. Like, yes, when you were a kid, you thought that you were going to be making journals full-time and sharing your stories on YouTube. It's like, no way. Never, ever thought this would be what I do. So it's just absolutely crazy. But yeah, started Patreon in 2019, I believe it was. So yeah, discovered junk journals 2017, started YouTube 2018, started Patreon in 2019, and then amazingly, now I've got to get my timeline right here. So last year, 2020, yes, I believe it was last year, 2020. In 2020, in March, I think it was March, let's just go with that. In 2020, in March, I left my day job and I took the leap and went full-time with Willow Bound Journals and, my channel and making journals and sharing stories. And I thought, I'll give it a go for the rest of the year, see how it goes for a year, and then I'll reassess and see if this is actually, doable. And then more patrons joined, and thank you so much. I'm now into my 2nd year of doing this full time and, making a living from creating, which is an absolute dream come true. When I was a kid, I probably did have a secret dream, like deep down, if I was really honest with myself, to create and, to be a writer. To be a writer was my number one secret dream job, but also creating. So those were the 3 things I did when I was a kid, was create, write, and read, basically. But I never kind of voiced that or even acknowledged it, admitted it, knew it back then, because back then the creative jobs weren't seen as real jobs. And so I always had it in my head that, I was going to, leave school and study something practical, get a job, and, that'll be my job forever, retire, done. And so I left school and I studied environmental science. Loved it, absolutely loved it. Studied zoology and did honours in animal behaviour. Absolutely loved it. My uni years, I still say, were the best years of my life. They were an absolute blast. Loved everything I learned, loved the subjects I took. Earth science was awesome, geography, environmental science, all of it was great. Of course, I love biology, that was my favourite. But all along I knew, my heart was still with creating and writing. And even, I think in my second last year before I did honours, I had some electives left over and I chose literature, which was quite fun. And then after that, it was a windy journey, like often people have a windy journey, but eventually I learned, no, my heart is actually with creating and writing and telling stories, basically. And I ended up doing a Master's of Writing in Literature, and then I did creative writing at Bible College, which blew my mind and introduced me to film analysis. Oh my goodness, this just opened up a whole new world to me. So I've always loved movies too, but I just didn't really realise I did. Okay, so this is story time now. Let's just get into story time. And so, yeah, I was just like mind blown the way that movies tell stories. Again, like I'm all about stories. And just the analysis of how they tell stories and how they make you feel, and amazing. And that is how I discovered psychology in Seattle. I was looking up film analysis videos on YouTube because I wanted more. I just wanted more and more and more. And what came up was the psychology of Gone Girl. Hadn't seen the movie, doesn't matter. I just love learning about how movies tell the story and what they can teach us and what we can learn from them. So when I stumbled across Psychology in Seattle's video, I was like, mind blown again. Oh my goodness, this isn't just film analysis. This is, learning about psychology and learning about human behavior and learning about myself through listening to those guys talk about, psychological theory, and then also their anecdotes, which I loved. I absolutely love that because I also, in my spare time, would read psychology books. So I've always had an interest in human behavior and how the mind works and all that kind of stuff. So to combine the art of storytelling, the art of making movies, and human analysis and behavior and all that kind of stuff, I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm in heaven right now. This is combining everything I love. Again, so where I go with the story. So I discovered that video, and then I'm like, give me more, and found Psychology in Seattle's podcast and all the other videos, and then I was hooked. And I've been listening to one of their episodes pretty much every day ever since discovering that video. Just love it. That's what I was going to say. I love the combination of the learning actual psychological theory or psychology theory, and pairing that with the anecdotes and the stories, because it's often when you hear someone's story that you connect most. That's where you understand how it applies, how the theory applies, and you can see yourself in other people's stories. And that's what I'm getting at here, the story element, and why I want to share my own stories on my channel, that, like, case in point what I'm doing right now. Because when people share their stories, especially their vulnerable stories, that's when you connect. That's when you it's kind of paradox. When people share their story, you see your own story in their story, and not that it's the same story, but you can, I don't know, you can see the differences, you can see the similarities, and you learn from that. You see more clearly, you can see yourself more clearly by seeing someone else more clearly, and I love that. I love that. And you learn and you grow from that. I'm definitely, my favourite quote, you guys know my favourite quote by Socrates, the unexamined life is not worth living. And the best life you can examine, I always say, is yourself, because you're the only one who can get to know your brain the way you do. And we want try to get to know other people's brains, but we're never ever going to know it the way that we know our own brain. So start with yourself is what I say. Get to know yourself really well so you can, give the best life you can. So yeah, wow, that was a rambly ending to this video, but that's their stories inspire me to share my own stories on my channel so that you can hopefully find yourself in the stories and get to know yourself better. And I know this sounds ridiculously cheesy, but be your best self and give your best self. That, you know, I truly believe that in my core. So maybe I'm made of cheese. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. That is my page spread for mentors. I hope you have fun doing your own page spread for mentors. Use those tags, Willow Bound Journals and Keepsake Journal, so I can check it out and everyone else can check it out. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching and for being here. A big extra special thank you to my beautiful patrons who support my channel and allow me to do this full time. I could not do this without you guys, so thank you so much. I hope you get a thrill from seeing your name here. These are all my patrons who supported me in July. If you would like to support me in August, the link will be below in the description box. You get access to extra videos, first preference for my journals, and personal updates, printables, and lots of extra fun stuff over there. If you don't want to become a patron but would like to donate and contribute with a thank you gift, there is a buy me a coffee tip jar kind of option as well. That's in the description box below too. If you want to stay updated with all that's happening in the world of Willow Bound Journals, check out the Willow Bound Journals Facebook group page. If you want to see what everyone else is doing in the Willow community and get to know each other, there's also a Willow Bound Journals community group on Facebook too. Links will be below. Check out my Instagram if you are on Instagram. And if you would like to do any journaling courses with me in August, I'm running the Anchor Journal course where we look for our anchors that ground us and bring us back to who we are and center us. And there's also the Willow Journal course, which is a more general course about self-discovery and learning to be in connection with ourselves, and a journaling basics course with a whole bunch of different creative prompts. So I'll leave the link to both of those courses below as well. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.